Real estate prices are through the roof these days. And a lot of people are opting not to purchase a home. They just can't afford it. Now, one option that you may have is to find an older home that needs renovated or it has been abandoned. Now, there's some downsides to this and there's some upsides to this. So right now we're going to go over 5 things you need to consider before buying a home to do a full renovation. Now, number one that we're going to go over is material costs. Now, lumber prices, anything to do with the construction trade, the prices fluctuate like you would not believe. Now, this addition you see behind me, I did this during, that period where we all had to stay home. Lumber prices were crazy. Actually, it was a little after that, but lumber prices had shot up, and I made the decision to go ahead and build it, because I ain't getting any younger. So I had to pay these crazy prices for lumber. I think 2x4s were $7 a piece at the time. It was everything was double. And it cost me probably 3 times as much to build this as it should have. And I'm not done yet. As you can see, I still got to trim out the windows and it's not done. That's another thing to consider. It's going to take you years, not months, years, unless you have a big crew. So material cost is a very big thing. So you kind of need to eyeball what property you're going to buy, determine what it needs, and then go shopping, man. Go price shopping. Go in the Lowe's, look around, see, well, 2x4s are this much. And please remember that you might go in there a month from now and that 2x4 may be cheaper or it may be more. So material cost is a huge thing. You got to consider wire. Electrical wire is something that has really went through the roof lately. Plumbing supplies. PVC pipe has just skyrocketed. It's insane what they are charging. That used to be one of the cheapest building materials you could get. Not so much anymore. But most times now, everybody's using PEX. And PEX is fairly inexpensive. But you got to determine what all you're going to need, what repairs, what you're going to renovate, Another thing to consider, number 2, is your skill level. Okay, what skills do you have? What experiences do you have in the construction trade? Do you have any? Okay, now there are a lot of helpful videos on YouTube. I will admit I didn't know a whole lot about electrical when I bought this place. I learned a lot of my I went to the YouTube School of Electrical Engineering. Yep, house ain't burnt down yet. But I had a minimum knowledge of it, a basic knowledge. So that helped me. When it comes to wiring different switches and things like that, I needed help with. But you can find a lot of helpful videos on YouTube. It can be frustrating because usually it was the subject I wanted a video for. The guy couldn't speak proper English and I couldn't understand him, and it was aggravating. That always seems to be the case. But figure out what your knowledge base is and how that's going to help you when you start on the home. Now, I did this alone, so everything relied on this brain. I didn't have help, so anything that needed to be done, I had to learn on my own. Plumbing, electrical, carpentry. Carpentry, I already had that pretty much down. I'm not a master at none of them, but I know enough to get it done. So, another thing you need to consider, before you even start a renovation, what do you got to do? You got to start tearing stuff out. Yep. So you need to figure out how you're going to dispose of all this stuff. Now, in my case, a lot of the wood and things that you could burn, I burn. But you don't want to burn plastics. You can't burn sheetrock. So you either have to look into getting a dumpster put in, or you're going to have a truck or maybe a trailer and haul these things off yourself. Well, that costs money. So that's something you need to figure into the whole picture, is getting rid of it. Because I know when I bought this place, it was full of stuff. and the whole property was full of stuff. And I had the option that I could do it over a period of time. Some things you can cut up, put them in a trash bag a little bit at a time, get rid of them with your regular trash. But if you're just gutting a place like I did, you're going to have a big pile, and you have to figure out what to do with it, you know, without polluting the environment and making a huge mess. And so that's something you need to consider. Blah, can't speak. Another option, or another issue. Man, I'm not editing this, so weather. Weather is a big thing. You don't want to start building something during the spring if you live in a real rainy, stormy area. Because that could put a damper in your plans, it could slow things down, it could ruin materials. So you don't want to do that. Best time I think to build or start any project is in the fall, early fall into winter. In my climate, man, we're lucky if we see snow once, but it will get cold. Cold you can work in, but ice, snow, rain makes it difficult. And if you do decide to do it in rainy weather, make sure you have plenty of tarps, because you don't want untreated lumber getting wet. Treated lumber doesn't hurt. Now, untreated lumber can get wet a few times. You know, as long as you don't let it sit for 2 or 3 years, you'll be fine. Even the new OSB and stuff, it's intended to get wet a few times because they know during construction process it's going to get some weather. So, but the sooner you can get that stuff on and get the place dried in, the better. Another one, this is a big one, the last one, physical ability. Now, when I bought this place, I had just come off of an injury that lasted 2 years. I was on a walker. I was just starting to walk with a cane, and I buy this place that needed gutted. Well, needless to say, it was not easy. But over time, as I started working, I started rehabilitating my body, I guess. I don't know. And I was very overweight at the time, so that didn't help. But what is your physical ability? Now, I was 46 years old when I bought this place. Still not that old, but with my issues that I had with my back and my knees, it made it difficult. And if you're not able to get up, get on the ground and do floor work, or which I couldn't do, I had a concrete floor in here for years. You're going to have a hard time. So most of us will have friends that will help. You may not be alone when you purchase it. You're going to get it done a lot quicker and a lot easier. And the younger you are and the better physical shape you're in, well, that's going to make it go even quicker. But if you decide to do this late in life, you got to keep that in mind. You may, you know, I've done this over the course of 10 years and I'm still not done, not even close. But now that I've changed my lifestyle and started losing weight and made a lot of other changes, now I can get on the, you know, it still hurts, you know, it's still an old fart, but now I can get on the floor and work a little more comfortably. When I put this deck in, that was one thing that, you know, set off a bell in my head. Dude, you got to lose some weight. You got to get in better shape, because that about killed me up there. That was horrible. So you need to look at your physical abilities. That is a big thing. So all those things combined are just 5 things that you really need to consider. And, you know, it's very rewarding, I'll say that. You won't be disappointed, you know. And if you mess something up, you know what you do? Tear it down, start over. Try to save your materials, but you'll get it right eventually. So, hope this video helps you. Hey man, give me a like, subscribe if you don't mind. Happy trails.